With us now is the governor of Pennsylvania, Democrat Josh Shapiro, who is here on behalf of the Biden campaign. Governor, always great to see you. I'm going to read you a quote, which I am sure you have either seen or heard maybe a dozen times already this morning. It's from columnist Thomas Friedman of the New York Times. The Biden family and political team must gather quickly and have the hardest conversations with the president, a conversation of love and clarity and resolve. We can put this up on the screen, I think, to give America the greatest shot possible of deterring the Trump threat in November. The president has to come forward and declare that he will not be running for re-election and is releasing all of his delegates for the Democratic National Convention. Your reaction?
Look, I hadn't seen Tom Friedman's column until you read it. Here's the bottom line. Joe Biden had a bad debate night, but Donald Trump was a bad president. And I think what you saw last night was a pathological liar in Donald Trump, who lied about his record, who has dangerous ideas about where he wants to take this country. I'll be the first to admit that that was not a good look in that debate last night. But it doesn't change the fact that there are really stark competing differences in this race. And I think what the American people have to do now is make a decision. Do we want to go back to a dark time that Donald Trump promises, where we have less freedom, where the middle class gets screwed, where there's fewer opportunities in our community? Or do we want to try and continue on with high employment, where we want to continue to produce more energy than ever before in this nation, where we want to keep taking the fight to China and beating them as we are now? We've got a lot of work to do, to be sure, in this country, but I believe we need to continue on this trajectory, not go back to the dark past that Donald Trump promises. Governor,
if the past is as dark as you say it is, if the threat is as big as you fear it is the Joe Biden who was on that stage last night your best option to prevent it from happening again?
Joe Biden earned the votes of primary voters, and he is our nominee. Listen, John, I've got a unique position in that as both Attorney General here in Pennsylvania and now as governor, I've had the opportunity to work with both men, and I can tell you that my experiences with Donald Trump demonstrate just how dangerous he is. Most of the time that I dealt with Donald Trump, it was kicking his butt in a courtroom because he was trying to take away our freedoms, because he was trying to exacerbate the problem of climate change. It was because he was trying to bully trans kids and undermine the rights of Pennsylvanians. And we won in court nearly every single time. Donald Trump promises more of the same. Hell, it'll probably be even worse.
But Governor, what I'm saying is, for all those people who agree with you, and there are many, are you more or less fearful this morning that he will be reelected based on what you saw last night?
Look, I would say to all those folks who are out there worrying right now, start working and stop worrying. There's a clear contrast in this race. And in many ways, even though there's two gentlemen on the ballot, Donald Trump and Joe Biden, I think this election is more a referendum on all of us and whether in this nation we still value freedom. And Joe Biden promises more freedom, Donald Trump promises less. Whether we want to try and continue to move forward in a world where we are engaged around the world as opposed to isolating ourselves and putting our national security at risk. I think we have a responsibility right now to ask ourselves what kind of nation we want to be. I think the answer is clear on that. And then we got to stop worrying and start working and making the case exactly as I'm trying to do here today and what I'll do all across Pennsylvania and this country. And I think we all have a responsibility to do the same.
Is President Biden capable of making the message, delivering the message that you are right now?
He is. And listen, John, I acknowledge he had a bad night in the debate last night. It doesn't change the fact that Donald Trump was a bad president. And certainly we need to be crisper in delivering that message. And the president has a responsibility to do that along with the rest of us.
Have they explained to you, the Biden campaign, what happened and why?
Well, I think the Biden campaign should speak for themselves. It's no question the president was not his best last night, but we got a long way to go until the election. And as people begin to focus in on the clear choice that they have, I don't think people want to have fewer freedoms in this nation. I don't think they want to go back to a time of the kind of chaos Donald Trump brought into our living rooms every single day. And I think as folks settle in, they look at their choices, they begin to look at the totality of the circumstances, not just what happened in the debate last night, the choice will become even more clear.
Do you think you could beat Donald Trump in a general election?
I'm not going to engage in that hypothetical. I'm all in for Joe Biden. I'm all in to support the nominee that the good people of Pennsylvania have chosen, and that is my focus, to make sure we defeat Donald Trump.
I know this is not a comfortable discussion, and I appreciate you agreeing to come on and talk to us this morning, but I know you also know that this is the discussion that is very much out there this morning. Thomas Friedman, other columnists writing. I'm sure. What was your phone like last night? Not private, top secret text messages that may deal with security in Pennsylvania, but from political people last night. What were you hearing overnight and into this morning?
Well, John, I'm not going to sit here and read you my text, but I can just tell you, in general, folks were saying what I'm saying to you this morning. Joe Biden had a bad debate night, but it doesn't change the fact that Donald Trump was a terrible president. It doesn't change the fact that there is a clear and stark contrast in this race and two very different visions for the future. I don't think that vision came through from either person last night, but we got work to do to make sure that that clear contrast is displayed. I mean, understand, it ain't easy debating a pathological liar, which is what Joe Biden had to do last night. Donald Trump lied about everything, from his record to the direction he wants to take people in this country. I mean, hell, John, he even lied about saying Democrats want to kill babies after they're born. I mean, come on. It's nonsense. And frankly, I think CNN could have done a better job of calling those lies out. The bottom line here is that there is a clear contrast in this race, and we have a responsibility to prosecute the case against Donald Trump, not get caught up in any hand-wringing right now, stop worrying and start working and help move this country forward.
And I got to let you go, Governor, but the very last question. You said last night that Joe Biden didn't have the best debate performance. Can that Joe Biden beat Donald Trump? The one you saw last night. Can that Joe Biden beat Donald Trump?
Joe Biden beat Donald Trump before, and Joe Biden can beat Donald Trump again. And John, listen, these races are close. Here in Pennsylvania, the last two presidential races came down to 44,000 votes and about 80,000 votes. You saw similar tight races in 4 or 5 other states. It's going to be close. And that is why we got to go out and we got to make the case. And that's why we've got to go out and make sure people understand that when they go vote, it's not just about how people handled themselves in one particular debate for an hour and a half. It's about how they handled the country over the course of their 4 years of their presidency. And with Donald Trump, what we saw during his 4 years as presidency is more chaos and less freedom. I don't want to go back to that time, and that's why I'm going to work hard to make sure we don't make that choice, and we continue to prosecute the case against Donald Trump.
Josh Shapiro, the governor of the Commonwealth of Pennsylvania, we really do appreciate you coming on this morning. Thank you very much. We'll talk to you again soon.
Thank you, John.